Well, I'm going to move this along, and I want to have that meeting because I promised these guys I would. Good afternoon. The August 2nd meeting of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust to be in order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the July 19th meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the minutes. Are there comments or questions? Hearing none, voting please. Minutes are approved. Do we need to vote again? Yes. We need to vote again. Now the minutes are approved. The next item is the consent docket. There's a number of items.
Move approval subject to individual considerations.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the consent docket. Are there matters to be considered individually?
Mr. Chairman, I would just point out the first contract under your consent docket is to purchase 60-inch pipe at a cost of about $67,000. Those are repair kits, what we call repair kits, groups of pipe that we would use to repair the Atoka pipeline. We're purchasing those in advance, particularly because we want to increase pumpage. Now that the pump stations are in full operation, we want to be able to gradually increase pumpage, but are concerned about the potential to crack the pipe if we do that. So we're currently pumping about 70 to 75 million gallons a day. We want to gradually bring the pipeline up to its full capacity, rated capacity of about 90 million gallons a day. Again, doing that gradually. Won't begin that upward swing until we get these repair kits in town sometime in October.
Gotcha. Good. Any other comments on the consent docket? Hearing none, voting please. Consent docket's approved. Next item is the concurrence docket.
Move the concurrence docket. Second.
A motion and a second on the concurrence docket. Again, there are a number of items. 3 other items to be discussed separately. Hearing none, voting please. Concurrence docket's approved. Next item, item 5, are easements. There's 3 easements to be approved.
Move we approve the 3 easements.
Have to be done one at a time. To ask this every meeting? I do ask this every meeting, don't I? Okay. Have a motion and a second to approve the easements. Voting please. The easements are approved. Next item is the reports. If I'm moving through this agenda fast and you think maybe it's because my house is on fire, it's close. Big fire across the street from my house, so
Oh, my gosh.
I'm kind of in a hurry.
Mr. Chairman, under reports, just a couple of things. We continue to work on solutions to periodic low pressure in the southwest target area that you see on your screen. That is a big focus, but another focus is just absolute full-out water production for customers. These are very exciting times. In July, line maintenance repaired 1,276 breaks and leaks. 524 of those were breaks. That's almost a half a year's worth of water line breaks in a month. We pumped 5.55 billion gallons of water, a new record by about 600 million gallons, or an average of about 20 million gallons a day above our all-time record month. It's been very exciting. People are, all hands are on deck. Right now, because of the extreme hot weather and the extreme dry conditions, we also have people, our meter readers, inspectors of various kinds, including solid waste and development services, will be helping us leave tags telling people that they're watering on the wrong day to help, again, try to manage water use in a time when lawn watering is just pretty tough. We are optimistic that we'll get a slight weather break and be below 100 next week, and are really excited about it. I'm happy to answer questions. Staff will bring you back information about how the system responded, plans to bring you back information about how the system responded, and a recommended plan of action, both looking at the anomalies through the weather and how the system performed.
There was one news feature on television last week about a leak
water line, and the comment was we had more important leaks to fix. We couldn't work with this one. And it seemed like the wording could have been just a little bit different.
Yes, sir, it could have. We have, I think you may have seen a report about a leak that said what we think is Southwest 164th Street, but which is Telephone Road and in Moore, Southwest 34th Street. There's a fire hydrant that was hit by a car that's been leaking for some time. That fire hydrant is attached to our 72-inch pipeline that takes the vast majority of water west from the Draper plant. I've asked line maintenance not to repair that break because it takes the 72 out of service. It's an anomaly of how the 72 was constructed. Once demand drops below about 140, we'll be able to take the line out of service and comfortably not disturb other customers while we're making the repair. We do prioritize repairs based on the volume of water that's being lost and property destruction. Mr. Samandi has prepared thus far 5 separate waterline replacement projects that are coming as an outgrowth of the number of breaks we've seen, and we'll continue to do that as we get through and identify where all the repairs we're working on using the industry standard of 5 breaks a mile as a common standard for replacement 5 to 7. So there is an approach. Yes, sir.
The critical issue, obviously, shutting down the 72 is something you wouldn't do. I think that was a little bit mischaracterized on the story. They asked, because they can show in and you don't know how big of a stream that water actually is. They characterized it as being about 2,000 gallons a day. And that sounds like a lot of water until you consider that a garden hose can put out about 10,000 gallons of water a day. So it's about 20% of the capacity of coming out of a water hose, and shown with the right water angle or the right camera angle, it can look like a lot of water. But to take a 72-inch line out of service to address that is really would be a disaster decision.
Yeah. Well, I realize that the press filters sometimes the information they get, but it came across as that we had sort of a cavalier attitude towards this thing, and it was so little we weren't going to bother with it. And I don't think that's the case. I think there's obviously some additional reasons that didn't make it to the
Yes, sir. And there's always, again, a prioritized basis with most water lost, most customers impacted, most property damage are the top priority. And there are things that have been leaking for a month. There's no question about that, but it tends to be a very small overall water loss. We are picking the big stuff first.
I understand some of our maintenance crews have been working long hours to get this done, and I think that would have been a good point to bring out. We have people working 24 hours a day or whatever the number happens to be.
Yes.
The fact that the city's taking an aggressive approach to these sort of things and prioritizing is important.
We understand, too, that customers who are being asked not to see water running in the street. That's very frustrating for them. We do truly appreciate that. We've worked on those messages about prioritization several times, and we'll continue to do so.
One of the concerns that I have, I talked to Marcia about this before the meeting. I've always been extremely proud of the fact that I thought the water system was, we were kind of ahead of the curve with regard to supply, with regard to the way we maintain the system. I think and historically we've had every reason for that to be true. I don't know that anyone could have forecasted the impact of perhaps climate change, something that is going to, if this kind of situation continues on into the future, what the impact that might have been. And we talked about perhaps scheduling a workshop for the trust, perhaps in September. It would be difficult to put one together any earlier than that, but in September, where we kind of reassessed where we are with regard to the infrastructure and looked at it from a standpoint of perhaps this is not what we previously predicted to be the worst weather conditions that we'd have, may not be the worst weather conditions. Those predictions may need to be altered into the future. So I think that's something we can look forward to. We talked about putting something together in the fall, perhaps in mid-September or a little later, to just take a fresh look at where we are with regard to the delivery system infrastructure. We have a motion and a second to receive the two reports. We do not have yet.
So moved.
Soon we will. We have a motion and a second to receive the reports. Any further questions or comments on the reports? Voting, please. Reports are received. The next item is items for individual consideration. The first one is for the request for proposals for crane and hoist equipment inspection and maintenance.
Move approval. Second.
Motion and a second to approve item 7A. Are there questions or comments? Voting, please. 7A is approved. Item 7B.
Move approval. Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve item 7B regarding fixing a road down at Lake Atoka that was damaged by heavy equipment. Any comments, questions? Voting, please. 7B is approved. New business. Comments from trustees.
Mr. Chairman, just a brief word of appreciation to the director and her staff. Sam and some of his people met with an irate citizen over street damage due to a construction of a sanitary sewer project, and they did a great job of talking to the citizen out there, making him aware of what they were going to do, and I think although he didn't like all the answers, he was satisfied that he'd gotten a fair hearing, and I think that's important. Thank you very much. Sam, thank you.
Any other comments from trustees or staff, citizens? Hearing none, we're adjourned. Thank you.